Welcome one and all to New York with the playoffs kicking off in a few short weeks. That means that the intensity of the regular season is reaching its nadir here in New Rochelle with the New York Empire at 5-3 on the season, playing host to an eternal rival in the 1-6 Toronto Rush. And I should say new look Toronto Rush here at Pacina F Field. As we get a look at the playoff picture, now these matchups aren't necessarily set, but right now, as I welcome on my partner in Keith Rayner. Keith, just looking at it, you see DC number one because they played one more game than Boston, but those two both with 2 losses, New York with the 3 losses, but all across the league, you see how close it is with the playoff picture.
Unfamiliar territory for the Empire, sitting outside of that top spot, but they are in a race with 3 horses, and these differences in the schedule could mean that we're going to tiebreakers.
That played the last 2 weeks without the Team Canada players. And moving it well, again, on a bus for a long time, and then the hammer up over the top. So there were some moments, and Matt Labar saying, "Me culpa" on that hammer across.
Now has the disc on the far sideline.
I don't know, is that what you had, Keith? As they give it right back, though, and then Randolph just flicks it into the end zone for Elliott Chartok. So not necessarily how they drew it up.
Kind of carry the weight, but the young guys have come out fired up, for sure.
You can see there's a lot of those flick resets, and this hammer over the top. I think so far, Keith, we're seeing that. And I want to thank you for joining us even in this delay of a game here on WatchUFA.tv. Randolph tries to return the favor going deep. And Holm thought about laying out, but instead just tracks it down. Good run by Jeff Holm. And there's a switch. And that's going to be a D. Fortin, the throw behind the rush cutter, and Fortin just picked it out of the air. So now the first opportunity for the Empire to get a break. And this was one of your keys to the game, Keith, that the Empire were going to have to take their chances. Fortin, another huck, and Davis tracks it down. Thinking about it, taking Drost wide, but Mike Drost with the Toronto Rush having the opportunity to tie this game up at 6. Again, Elliott Chartok playing this as a D point, and you can see the effort from Mike Drost shutting down the reset. And that's the one thing the Toronto Rush should know. Never mess with an angry Drost, as Chartok, Davis has positioning, goes up early, and Davis has a little something to say after the fact.
Jumping the gun, John Randolph making a fantastic play and following it up with what's going to go down as a boneheaded one.
And finding the other side of the end zone is O'Donnell, so my goodness. Has, again, 20 assists this year, 9 goals, just 5 turnovers.
Aggressive look, though, on the hammer.
And Brownlee goes right away to Mike Drost, who finishes it off in the end zone. Empire unafraid of the deep ball, and another break in their hat.
That one was too easy. Brownlee just
to a wide open O'Donnell. Now O'Donnell, 3 seconds to go. Do they have enough time to find the end zone? And O'Donnell trying to lay out his way into the end zone, and he does. So Toronto, thinking about returning the favor on a deep shot. He does. And is this Mike Drost again?
Ooh.
And instead, no, that's going to be a sky. A lot of height. And almost an immediate turnover. And establish themselves as, hey, this is the last 2 UFA champion, as a bit too far for the outstretched hand of Turcotte. But lastly, Anna, while we still have you as Seaman, looking for Liam Haberfield, who
beautiful.
runs it down, so the league has ever seen. And probably not the last, and now it's become a thing, and as the kids say, you're memeing it, so that is Yacht to Jeff Holm again. What beautiful end of quarter play, and that is the kind of stuff that I think gives you confidence looking ahead to Salt Lake next week.
the league is fair game right now.
Well, the through line there, I think, with all of that is Bo Kittredge, of course. And that's a good run by Owen Robinson. Got on his horse and outran.
hadn't scored a single goal in either of his prior seasons.
That's a great grab. Throw away from the end zone. And this O'Donnell. So the Rush have not been without their... I don't want to blame the puppies too much.
We would never.
This will be another Huck. Jack Williams. And that's a clean grab. Even if he didn't have the height, he had inside positioning. And it felt like Jack didn't really have to take this game over, but I think that's, again, another bigger conversation to have about next week against Salt Lake or against Minnesota. How much can Jack Williams and Ben Yao, what is the capability they have, and how much is it needed for them to completely take over these games? And
I think part of this season, the team's 1-6, their postseason hopes have been dashed, but it's about finding those players to trust and a system to trust. The Rush, including Yearwood, you're still guiding the team.
Trying to give back, and also mentioning there's that 1 or 2 weekends or times. And Jack Williams, Ben Yacht going deep again. For Yacht, that is goal number 4, along with his 2 assists and a block. So I'd say with a rather...
Obviously, they've come a long way since then, but you could still see some of the markings of it when you look at the schools that some of these players come from.
This is a good long run from Jack Williams, and the Empire with just 45 seconds on the clock. I think they're going to be happy here with 10, or maybe not, as that's the dagger Huck. Liam Haberfield tracking it down again, and Oliver Chartok expanding his range. So Matthias Lang and Caleb Seaman and Sam Jonas just going to wind the clock down, and the Empire move up another game. Most importantly, in the overall record for this season, they moved to 6-3. Toronto falls to 1-7, and now the all-time series still 17-7 now for the Empire as they